Alright, hello and welcome back to Tom Q's Tech Tips. Hopefully the third time is a charm. I should probably just do these videos and edit them on the back end, but welcome back. And well, there we go. Alright, today this is a kind of a follow-up video to super simple SuperSource animation. And this is more preset SuperSource animating goodness with MixEffect Pro. Still exploring that app, which is still not out yet as far as what I've heard. I keep searching the App Store and it's not there yet, but still playing around with that beta. And so anyway, first things first, I want to talk about that Elgato thing that has the buttons, and I could not think of the name of it 2 days ago. It's the Stream Deck, as a couple of people pointed out. And so anyway, it's looking more and more as I play around with MixEffect that I am not going to have to spend $150 to $200 on a Stream Deck. And so I want to thank Adam Tao, that I mispronounced his name the other day. It rhymes with now. And thanks to Adam, I'm going to be saving $100 to $200. So so anyway, this is currently doing everything I want it to do. And so anyway, today, without spending any more time correcting my issues from the other day, I want to talk about 4 things with MixEffect, and then 2 additional things that of using old equipment to enhance your ATEM Extreme now that you've got all those inputs. So so anyway, first thing, first 4 are going to be MixEffect Pro things, and one of them is this option to search presets by. And so I've actually got quite a few presets now. They are so easy to make that it's easy to get a lot of them, and then it becomes, the daunting part becomes finding the one that you want for the show that you're doing. So Adam has baked in a little feature for helping with that, and so we're going to take a look at that. Second thing we want to talk about today is a feature that may not actually make the cut for the first release of the one that's coming in the App Store. I don't know which build Adam actually got into that. So this is something he added just this week, and so so it's called color differentiating boxes. And that has really helped me. I'm actually a little bit colorblind, so when my eyes were scanning my presets trying to find one of the pictures in pictures for my last presentation, I just couldn't see it. So so anyway, we're going to look at that. Number 3 is updating a preset. So sometimes you want to create a new preset based on an old preset, kind of like what I did in the last presentation. But other times you realize you need to just tweak one and then save it as is. And so it's not super intuitive. Well, maybe that will be something that Adam looks at, but it can be done. It's just a little tricky. So it's probably in his massive documentation somewhere. And then the last but not least thing I want to talk about on MixEffect Pro is the live emphasizing of a box. So as far as I know, this is another thing that you can't do any other way, at least not easily any other way. So we're going to take a look at that. And then I've got 2 little things, and one is new life for a 3rd gen Apple TV, which is losing features by the day. I think YouTube stopped working on it a month or 2 ago. And then somebody asked me in the last video what device I was using to do the colored animation and the background animation. So I've got a cheap background animating device, very cheap. In fact, I already had most of the ingredients, so didn't even have to buy anything. So I'm going to go ahead and switch and shoot my I meant to switch to not one of the other views. I actually tapped the wrong one. That's the one I meant to switch to, just to get my face out of the way. So anyway, but we're going to switch to the iPad and my camera view that we used last time. And so you can see I have a lot less presets, or it looks like I have a lot less presets than I did in the last presentation. All the built-in ones that came with it seem to be missing. And that is simply because I have typed something in the bar up here at the top. So let me just clear that for a second. I'm going to click that little X, and you'll see that it says search presets right up here. And so now that I've unchecked that box, I have all the presets back. But this is getting to be quite a number of them, and I've even accumulated quite a few favorites. So favorites will push the things that you select to the top, but I almost have too many favorites now. So there's a feature that you can do, and I'm going to come down in here and click. The one that's live is the one that has the colorful name instead of the gray name. I'm going to press and hold on this one, do the long press, and you get some, here's the, you can see that I have put this particular one in my favorites. Could also come down and rename it if I want to, and so I could be searching, I could change the name of all my presets to have a specific name in them. But I fairly methodically named my presets to mean something. So I don't actually want to do that. And by the way, Apple, if you were ever listening, turning off notifications does not stop them from coming into view when you're doing a presentation. So at least with iOS 14.5.1, it's not working. At least not for me on any of my devices. So anyway, there's this feature right here called Edit Description. And so this will not show up in your titles. It's just going to be a description, and I have typed in the description for the current show that I'm doing. This one's on presets, but I could name this whatever I want. So if I'm going to a venue or something, I can name it after the venue. Just put the name in the description, and then when I come up to the top, as soon as I start typing it, and typing one letter is actually going to start moving things around because it's going to remove things that don't have that letter. But you can see that just by typing PRE that I've narrowed it down to the specific set that I wanted for this. So that's the search presets by feature that I wanted to show you. So this can be super helpful. Just before you start your presentation, if you just pick out the presets that you want to use, type a specific name in the description, and you can narrow it down to those presets. All right, the second thing I wanted to show is the color differentiating boxes. And so right now, the only color you're seeing here is the background. The presets that have basically transparency, where you'd be seeing the background, in my case the moving blue bars. So all the presets where you would actually see the blue bars have the orange in them, but the boxes themselves are all the same color. So I'm a little bit colorblind, and so when I'm looking for these presets, if they have picture-in-picture, which means overlapping ones, then I can't see it as well. I mean, I can see the, for instance, let's zoom in on these a little bit. I just want to show it to you a little bit more. You can see on these visible presets, and I'm going to hopefully slide up here and that didn't work. All right, there we go. Here are 4 boxes that have picture-in-picture, and I can see the 2 and the 1, but they're not the biggest things in the world. So what I was asking for was the ability to separate out, either through a blend mode or something, the picture-in-picture so that they would be a little bit more visible. Excuse me. And the solution that Adam came up with is up in, let me get up here in the, you turn it on in the settings. So if you're like me and you want this, you can come up here into the settings and come down to user interface. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap that. And there's this new thing that, again, I'm not sure it's going to be out on the very first publicly released build, but probably on the next update after that. Unless he's had to resubmit, then it might be there. But differentiate boxes. So the four boxes that you can have, they're basically going to be assigned different colors if you flip this switch. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Click done twice, and then wait a sec, and we're gonna come down to SuperSource, and at least in the icons, you can see that there's some different colors. So 1 and 4 are kind of the same, but anyway, this has definitely helped me. Let me go back to view all, and you can see my picture-in-picture ones really stand out. I can really see those corners, and so anyway, thank you, Adam, for adding that feature. I really love it. All right, and all right, so the third thing I want to talk about is updating a preset. So in the last presentation, I actually started with one preset and ended up making a new preset out of that one. This time what I want to do, and I'm gonna actually work on the one that we're viewing, because if I tap anything else, everything will go away. So I'm gonna come up to the very top and tap SuperSource, and it will take you into editing the particular preset that you currently have live. And you can see that I have on this preset box number 1, which is my face, and box number 4, which is the iPad. The other 2 boxes are turned off, and that is reflected in this little strip that you find here across the top if you're in the edit mode, or in another place when we go back to view all, which I'll show you in a second. So I want you to notice something as well. There's between the reset button and box number 1, I currently have a thing that lets me swap the two items. So that is very cool. I mean, it just on the fly changes the under the hood settings for box number 1 and box number 4. Whatever 2 boxes you have on the screen, it's just going to flip them and flop them. Now you do have to be a little careful with that, because then when you switch to other presets, it's going to remember that setting when you do that. So if you swap, remember to swap back before you start doing some other swapping around or some jumping into other presets. But anyway, I'm going to come down here and turn on box number 2. And so that is now over here on the side, and I am going to slide up and find this preset. Now, I don't know why I have to do this, but anyway, I have to, when you start editing a preset, it's gonna be, the top row is gonna be all the way to the left. So I'm gonna have to slide over to the name of the preset, and then to update it, you basically press and hold until it gives that little kick. I don't know if you saw that. I'm gonna do it again. It just kind of gives a little kick there, and that means that you've saved it. So if you didn't do that and you then switch to another preset, and I'm going to come over and do, we'll go back to my, tell you what, we'll just come back to this one right here. If you switch to another preset and then come back to that other one, it will not have saved the thing that you just did. All the, whatever tinkering, whether it was 5 seconds worth of tinkering or 10 minutes worth of tinkering, that's going to be gone if you didn't save that either as a new preset or update it. So you'll notice also that when I added that third box, I now actually have 3 things that I could emphasize that we're going to do in a minute. But I lost the swapping option. So when you've got more than 2 things, it doesn't know what you're going to swap. So anyway, that makes sense. So I'm going to come back down here and turn box number 2 off, which ATEM says it's going to animate properly if I do that, if I put them in their proper places. That hasn't been my experience 100%. So it does work sometimes, but then sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, we'll leave that alone for now. So I need to come up and save that again and press and hold, give it a little kick. Now I get my my swapping back, and then we've got these other cool things here. So I'm gonna click on number 1, and that basically animated my face in a certain percentage, and it animated the iPad out a certain percentage. And then if I come and do number 4, it's going to do the exact opposite. So it's growing number 4 and shrinking number 1. Anyway, I am going to show you how this wasn't behaving the way I was expecting on one of the iPads, and I'm not sure why that wasn't syncing between the different ones, but I found the place where the setting is, and it's under these little sliders here. And so first of all, inside this menu, you can actually redefine the source for the boxes on, kind of on the fly in your live show. So normally your audience is not seeing the iPad, so you can be doing this behind the scenes, and you could just basically switch what's in. I tell you what, I'm going to switch box number 1 to a different camera, and so on the fly I can just switch cameras. So now that is going to affect all of my other presets that have box number 1 in it. So anyway, if you don't want that to happen, you need to and oops, did I check the same one again? I want to come up and get there we go. All right. So secondly, inside that little guy is under animation, and you get to decide how much each box is growing or shrinking. So when I click this, I currently have it growing the maximum amount, which is 1.5 times. I could have it not shrink, or not grow, but have the other one shrink for some reason, or I could have this one grow and then not have the other one shrink. So currently I have, actually let me just do 1 again. Let me click number 1. So right now when I click number 1, 1 is growing and 4 is shrinking. So I'm going to come in now and change the animation for shrink other boxes to don't change. So now let's reset. So this is the original size. When you click the reset button, it goes back to the way you designed it. And then when I tap number 1, I'm going to grow, but it's not going to shrink. So you've got complete control over that. As far as I know, there's not a way to do this. Well, I guess you could go into the ATEM software and find the place where you grow the box. But anyway, it's certainly a lot more daunting. All right. So those are the 4 things I wanted to talk about with MixEffect Pro, and just got 2 more things real quickly, and I better hurry because my phone is running out of battery. I didn't have it. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in so it doesn't go out while we're talking here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to that view. And anyway, all right, so let's go. This would be, I believe, all right, there we go. So this is my iPhone that you're looking at now. It's a little bit, it's not as smooth as I would like. I think I'm gonna have to go hardware on that, but basically what I'm doing here, and we will switch to, let's go to this view real quick. So I've got my iPhone, I've got it plugged in. What I really need here probably is another one of those Lightning to HDMI adapters, and so that will solve my jerkiness. So anyway, maybe this isn't as new life as I thought, but so I'm going to come down. Let me switch back to, really need to go to view all so I can get to these a little bit quicker. I'm going to switch over to number 3 again, and I'm coming down below the surface here. There's the ATEM, and then next to it, as I turn over here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit with, I'm using Filmic Pro here, which has now got clean HDMI out, and it turns out it also has clean AirPlay out. So on the left is my old Apple TV 3, 3rd gen, and that is going into input number 8. And so so that's actually how you're seeing this. My phone is AirPlaying over to the Apple TV, and so and then I've got input 8 going into box number 3. And then to the right of it, I've got an old iPhone 5S, and you can see it's AirPlaying something. Oh, what is it AirPlaying? Let me just, whoops, let me tap the little X for a second. So this is a little app. In fact, you know what? I can't get that any closer because the lightning cord. You know what? I can probably take that lightning cord out because it is my limiting factor here. And I'm going to bring this a little closer. Oh, you know what? Shoot. I could theoretically switch. But anyway, what I've got here is 2 videos in this app called Loopideo. Pretty bad name. And this is so jerky. This is not a good tip, but at least for moving things like this, it's not going to be so great. But this Loopideo, when I touch a video and click play video, wow, that's bad. So forget number 5. It actually worked pretty good for my when I had my iPads on the screen this morning. But anyway, so I'm going to go back to this view right here, and Loopideo is the thing that's playing this video that's running in the background. So that's actually working really well. So cheap background animating device is my iPhone 5S, which was sitting in a drawer. Still kind of works, but not really works that great for a phone. And it's doing a great job at streaming into input number 7. So maybe I can, let's just go over to my, tell you what, try this AirPlay thing one more time. And boom. All right, so you can see on my multi-view that input number 7 is this background. So it's not coming from the media pool, which doesn't work on the ATEM Extremes. So it's just a long video thanks to A to Z Productions that was included in their pack. So anyway, I think let me go back to how about this view right there. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover, and so we're gonna call it a day. And third time's the charm. Sorry for those that tuned in a little bit earlier when I made a couple disasters out of this. I should have just done the whole thing and then edited in post, but thank you for tuning in to Tom Q's Tech Tips. And not sure when I'll do any other videos, but I've enjoyed these two this week. So thanks and have a good day. Bye-bye.